while she recovered. Go 500, stay in the mix. But after getting dropped by the winless Sun, yeah, all bets are off.
You should win 3 out of every 4. You should be a good squad that blows out the Connecticut Sun without Caitlin Clark. So that makes me question, how good is this team?
But it's not just about 1 or 2 games.
Sun.
The Fever's loss to the previously winless Sun marked a brutal low point in their Caitlin-less stretch. And now, even the most loyal fans are starting to ask the hard question. Is this team actually any good without her?
I had these 2 games as wins. Well, now I look at the schedule and I'm like, well, you can't take any of these games for granted. They could.
The Indiana Fever play puke ball. Even with Caitlin Clark this season, they play puke basketball.
And if the Fever keep playing like this, slow, sloppy, uninspired, and Caitlin's out for more than 4 games, the WNBA could lose a ton of momentum. All that hype, all those headlines, all the new eyeballs, gone. Because momentum in sports is fragile. And without their biggest star and a competitive product, casual fans won't wait around. It doesn't take much to go from trending to forgotten.
Now, if they lose this game tonight, then you can cancel Christmas because you have some much bigger problems than just Caitlin Clark being out.
You better take down the tree and pack up the ornaments because the worst case scenario just happened.
Can we please get a round of applause for Stephanie White? We lost to the Connecticut Sun, folks. The 0-5 Connecticut.
Every major sport, when the biggest star isn't playing, casual fans disappear. And that's exactly what's starting to happen here. Now sure, not everyone is smashing the panic button. Some are still pointing to decent numbers and trying to spin it as a win. But here's how I see it. A lot of people are tuning in right now just to see how the Fever hold up without Caitlin Clark. And so far, it's been brutal.
And I think another negative is that working things out for the rest of the season. We're trying to figure out our identity. You shouldn't need to figure out your identity. You have Caitlin effing Clark on your team. At least run, put in some effort. Run, don't try to grind a team down and win a game in the 70s. Because when Caitlin Clark comes back, you're not going to be able to do that.
Remember those preseason interviews with Sophie Cunningham? She said she was excited for it.
Their motion offense is give the ball to the wing, 4 players stand around and is like, what are we meant to do? What are we meant to do? What are we meant to do? And then eventually the ball probably gets turned over.
This was supposed to be a new day. This was supposed to be a new dawn, a new head coach, a new era for Indiana Fever basketball. And I would much rather, yes, folks, give me Christy Sides back. Goodness gracious, I said it.
Anyway, you slice it, the fan base is panicking right now. But honestly, it's not just a Fever problem. The entire league,
In theory, lose all of them.
it's not just that they've lost, it's how they've looked doing it.
You have the Fever as a result looking like one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league, without Caitlin Clark.
And now it's painfully clear. This stretch without Caitlin isn't just a test for the Fever. It's a reckoning for the entire WNBA.
The success of the WNBA rides on the success.
It's relevant, and the advertisers pay attention.
Disaster. And a lot of people were like, well, Caitlin Clark's not growing the game if people won't tune in with her. Look, people tuned out when Jordan went to baseball. They tuned out of the NBA when Jordan went to baseball. And then when Jordan retired, they tuned back out again until Kobe came along. This is not hard.
It's the same pattern you see across
Of the Indiana Fever, and specifically Caitlin Clark.
the ratings are in, and yeah, they're slumping. The Fever look like they're spiraling, and without Caitlin Clark, they're not just losing games, they're losing the fans' faith. There are already calls for Stephanie White's job and real questions about whether this roster, especially with key injuries, can even stay afloat. But before you abandon ship, hear me out. It's not all doom and gloom. There is light at the end of this very bumpy tunnel. So let's break down exactly TV, which sounds good, until you realize NBA TV isn't exactly prime real estate. But here's the truth that gets lost in all the spin. The WNBA wasn't booming before Caitlin. It was inching forward. Modest growth, yes, but still losing money year after year. $40 million down just last season. And now, they're not just losing viewers. They're losing the casual fans, the ones who made the arenas loud, the broadcastly why fans are freaking out, what's actually going wrong, and why there's still hope. But first, go ahead and like this video if you're counting the days until Caitlin Clark returns. Drop a comment if you think the Fever are in serious trouble, and hit that subscribe button. Let's dive in.
The Indiana Fever deserve to be the laughingstock of the WNBA because of all the crap they pulled in preseason.
We all knew the Fever would take a hit without Caitlin Clark. That was
Clark, but that's still way off. I mean, the previous NBA TV game against the Dream, averaged 581,000 with Caitlin Clark.
I've seen the ratings argument spun in a few different directions. On one hand, yes, ratings are clearly down without Caitlin Clark. No denying that. But then you've got people saying, hey, some of these games are still among the top draws on NBA fast-paced, run-and-gun offense. Something dynamic, up-tempo, high-octane. Well, they've been anything but that. Instead of pushing the pace, the Fever have looked slow, stagnant, and confused, like a team still trying to find its identity. And without Caitlin Clark orchestrating, they just haven't been fun to watch.
Last night was the commentators were talking about the Connecticut Sun and the Indiana Fever being the two slowest.
Obvious. But I don't think anyone expected it to get this bad, this fast, and the blowback has been intense. When the Fever lost to the Connecticut Sun, a team that had been winless, missing key players, and widely considered the worst in the league, fans and analysts lost it. X turned into a full-blown schadenfreude party. Non-Fever fans piled on, mocking everything from the roster to the coaching staff. And the cherry on top of the sundae? The Connecticut should be worried, because as the Fever go, so does the WNBA. When your biggest star is out and your most hyped team falls apart, it doesn't just tank local morale. It shakes the confidence of every new fan who was finally giving the league a shot.
So right here, Wednesday's Fever Mystics WNBA game averaged 357,000 viewers on NBA TV. That was without Caitlin Clark.
Bold, it was borderline prophetic trash talk. They weren't just aiming for respect. They were claiming the league. And honestly, with Caitlin Clark joining a reloaded roster full of veterans and new talent, it wasn't crazy to think this team had championship potential. But now, without Caitlin, they've boarded the struggle bus, and they're on a nationwide tour. We thought maybe they could tread water with the entire league. I'll break down why that's a serious issue beyond just the box score in a second, because this isn't just a Fever problem. It's something that could affect the entire WNBA. But it's gotten so bad that fans and analysts are already calling for major changes. And get this, some are actually missing Christie Sides.
This team plays worse offense than what Christie Sides.
Connecticut Sun's own social media account got in on the action, roasting the Fever.
The Fever are getting, I'm not even going to say sneak dissed, very openly dissed by a team who lost their entire starting five, lost their coach to Indiana, lost one of their all-stars to Indiana, don't have a training facility, and were 0-5.
And the reason this loss hit so hard, because the Fever came into the season talking big. Their Now You Know campaign wasn't just
teams in the WNBA. If you told me that that would be something that was said on the broadcast during any Indiana Fever game, I would have thought you were insane. Literally, the two slowest teams, with the Connecticut Sun being the slowest team in the WNBA. And just last night, once again, the Indiana Fever only had 4 points in transition buckets. The game before that, again, without Caitlin Clark, 0 points in transition buckets.
Who would have thought the Fever, with all that preseason hype, would be one of the slowest teams in